So I wanted to do an extra lesson to kind of show you where I ended up in the end. I showed you kind of my raw process of sitting down and doing this step by step, but I spent another hour after kind of finishing the videos, and I wanted to kind of finesse it a little bit to kind of add a final version. And I just wanted to talk about how I ended up at this version because it is a little bit different. And what I just ended up deciding to do is eliminate the only word and just mess with the word typography, just in case I wanted to apply this to products and not just talk about the class course name, but kind of expand it and be able to use this on other items. And so I kind of got rid of the only, and I kind of tucked the P and the Y. I have the Y and the R kind of touching here, so I kind of have this nice centered kind of alignment all the way down. And I also, what I wanted to do, instead of doing the shadows, I wanted to actually cut out holes between, or kind of open spaces between the letters to look like they're kind of interacting a little bit. So what I did is I took my shadows and actually took the Shape Builder tool, which is right here. I actually teach a class on the Shape Builder tool, or I have lessons on that, so you guys should be aware of that. And I went ahead and drew an object, and I went ahead and did the subtract, which you just hold down the Option key when you have an object to subtract. And I'll go ahead and do this real quickly on the older version so I can show you. And that's kind of how I created the little empty, looks like it's negative space basically between these areas. So that's kind of how I ended up with this. I also duplicated this and was able to replicate like a little background, and I just screened it back or reduced the transparency to kind of create a little bit of a texture while still only using type. So I continued, that's kind of how I expanded the design so it didn't look like it was sitting in empty space. I kind of added a little bit of just something in the background to kind of give the eye some focus. So that's how I ended up at this. I also played around with colors a little bit, as you can see here. But let me hop in to the original one and show you how I did the Shape Builder tool, just if you're really curious about how I did that. Alright, so for those curious about how I used the Shape Builder tool on this original one we worked on, so this is the original design. It's going to remove that texture, both layers. And right now I kind of have a shadow, which is just kind of a medium gray solid color. And what I'm going to do is I'm just make that a different color so I know where it's going to punch out. I'm just going to make sure it expands all the way beyond this little point, just to make sure it doesn't leave any extra residue. And I'm going to go ahead and take our Shape Builder tool. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and select our objects first, actually. So I'm going to select my T. I'm going to punch this out of the T, this shape. I'm going to go ahead and select this as well. So I selected the red object and the object below. Take our Shape Builder tool, and then I'm going to hold down Option. I believe it's Alt on a Windows. And I'm just going to delete all the red parts. And I'm left over with an extra space. And I did that with all the remaining shadows to kind of create a negative space of shadow as opposed to just having a shadow shape. And you can go back in and finesse some of these corners a little bit. So have that corner, just delete that, and continue to mess with that throughout the piece. That's how I ended up with the final.